Bonjour, good morning. Minagajib. Welcome everybody to the Tribal Council meeting this morning. I first would like to introduce to you our new Executive Director, Robbie Gogolai, and Randy Long is sitting next to him to assist him on his first council meeting. Welcome, Randy, and congratulations, or welcome, Robbie, and congratulations.
Thank you.
With that, we'll start with our invocation by our spiritual advisor, Jean Goodsky. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Here.
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 Shane was boisterous this morning. Okay, we have a quorum. Approval of the agenda.
Actually, regarding the agenda, I'd like to move the live broadcast of the ballot count, have it as a standalone action rather than be part of the consent agenda.
We can just do it. It's already been voted on, so we have to have it in the consent agenda. But it's already been voted on through the poll, so it is in the consent agenda, so that's the way it is. And if you want the vote on that, we can do that. Okay. Anything else, Shane? Or anybody else? Rob?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, one addition, we have Kim Greiner with the motion for an update on CARES Act funding.
Okay, where would you like that, Rob? After who? Or where would you like it on the agenda?
At your very end will work.
Okay. At the end. CARES Act funding. Okay. Any other additions or deletions or comments? Now I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, second by Shane. He was louder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Okay, next we have the minutes from July 1st of 2020 in Nett Lake, Minnesota.
Some stuff I need to point out is that I know that when when we did the poll for the live stream of the ballot count for the next election in August, Victoria sent out an email regarding approval from the MCT, and if we look back in the meeting minutes here, the first page, down by the bottom, it's where I asked if the Minnesota Sports Tribe and TEC or Tribal Executive Committee need to be asked if Bois Forte could do it, and Kathy said Bois Forte does not need to approach them for approval, so I'd just like to point that out.
Okay, thank you.
And then on last page, when we did the remodeling work for the Vermilion Clinic, and also I think it was for the ARI, it says Shane explains why he voted against, and I'd just like to clarify again that I felt that those two things should have been put out for bids, so that's why I voted against it.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, Shane. Any other comments or questions on the minutes from July 1, 2020? I'll call for a motion to approve. Oh, Dave,
Getting
go ahead.
back to Shane's question on the when he asked about the ballots being live streamed, I did talk with Gary Fraser on Monday when we had the TEC, and he said there was no problem with that, so we can make arrangements for that, so we have enough time to get that all done. So, but I just wanted to make sure, so because I know I didn't see no problem with it, but I just wanted to make sure. So, and I did talk. Like I said, I did talk with Gary. So,
Thank you, Dave. Okay, if no other comments or questions, I'll call for a motion to approve the July 1, 2020 meeting minutes.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second? Seconded by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Have any new staff out there? One? Okay. Two? Oh, Robbie. Yeah. Come on in. Oh, yeah. Forgot poor Brandon. Welcome, Brandon.
Introduce Brandon Anderson. He is our new nurse practitioner for Nett Lake.
Welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Nice to have you.
I don't know if you're shaking hands or
Well, we can do elbows.
elbows.
Okay, cool. All right, do you just want to like a...
Sure, if you want. Go ahead.
Sure, okay. Well, I'm from Crane Lake, Minnesota, born and raised. I went to Orr High School. Graduated with my bachelor's and master's degree from the University of North Dakota. My wife and I currently live in Crane Lake.
Well, welcome, Brandon. We're very happy to have you here with us,
Thank you.
providing health services and nurse practitioner. Congratulations.
Thanks, yeah.
I've known Brandon since he was a little boy, so it's nice to see a young man pursuing his career and coming back and working here. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Gonna do an elbow bump?
Yeah, I even got a coach in here too. Yeah.
Ooh.
Lord, Brandon.
Randy, you want to? Randy, just do Rob. Do Robbie.
Introduce Rob.
Next, we have Robbie Gogolai.
Executive Director, our new Executive Director. Okay, you don't want to do, okay, Rob, all right. Anyway. Okay, next we have a consent agenda, and this is what Shane was talking about here. There was a poll done to approve the live broadcast of the ballot count for the general election on August 18, 2020, and every election from then on. And this was brought up by Shane with regards to, and I can't remember which tribe did that. Was it White Earth? And I think another tribe maybe did it. I'm not. So there are tribes, and I think, you know, with technology, that just, you know, I really want to thank those other tribes for doing that, because that just makes sense. Now that we have the technology available to do these types of things, so people can actually see what's going on. So at that time, you know, to get this going and try to think of how to get it set up and that kind of stuff, we did do a poll with the tribal council, and Shane approved it, Travis approved it, Chief approved it, and David approved it. So there was a 4-0 vote for this, and I really think it's a good way to bring everybody in on without having to be there. So I think it's a new way of doing things. So I say Chimeg, which to you, Shane, for bringing that up. Transparent we can be, the better it is for our tribal members.
No.
Okay, so that was on the consent agenda. We also authorized the request from Shannon Kendall to use the band logo at the Communications Department of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation for their new FY21 Resource Guide. They wanted to use our logo in their Resource Guide book, and so that was approved also 4-0-0. So do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Okay. Next we have Dani Pieratos. Agenda with the Memorandum of Understanding between the Bois Forte Tribal Government and the Bois Forte Food Sovereignty and Sustainable Agricultural Community Advocacy Group. Yeah, that was kind of, that's why I went. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Renika.
Good morning. Hi,
Morning.
everybody.
Hi.
So, we thank you for having us back so soon, and kudos to Wicco for the backleg work. I had forgot about the legal review, so thank you for. And we actually, going over it with our group, have we have changes.
Oh.
And so if we could just kind of do a little bit of negotiating or talking through the MOU.
Sure.
If the council has recommendations for changes too, I don't know if you
I
guys
just
want
have
to
some
start.
comments on it, so.
Yeah,
yep.
perfect.
The memorandum of understanding, and this really got done fast, thank you for that.
Yeah.
That you have, I guess the questions I have is number 4, where the attorney added in on the red part, for being the fiscal agent.
Yep.
Just so you're aware that any monies, I believe, that come under the tribal government, there is an indirect cost that's charged. So I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of
Thank
that.
you, yeah, thank you, yeah, we assume
and-
that, just because of the, well, from working here before, but
Yep,
also
yep.
any fiscal agent, you know, they
Yep.
typically will charge 5% or 10%.
Okay,
Obviously, we'd prefer the 5% if that's the indirect cost rate, but would be willing to go up to the 10%.
right. Under 6A, it says that we're responsible for providing venue spaces free of charge for research, and there's no problem with that. But with Fortune Bay, there is a charge, so I wanted the attorneys just to add in there that the community centers will be free of charge, but
Okay.
Fortune Bay would be not included in that
Okay.
portion. Under number D, the Bois Forte RTG will pursue USDA approval to self-regulate industrial hemp research and development as soon as possible in preparation for the 2021 growing. Basically, 2021, 2022, we'll go with that because we're not, you know, the leasing aspect of it and the ordinance and that type of stuff might take a little
Yep.
longer.
And I was gonna lobby to keep it at 20, or I am lobbying to keep it at 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the, you know, you shoot for the ideal.
yep.
And then, I think it is very plausible and very doable
Mm-hmm.
to have that in place by next year, because Bois Forte already has a working relationship with the Farm Service Agency.
Right.
Through the crop insurance on the wild rice.
Right.
And her name is Jan Lynn, I forgot her last name.
Okay.
And I kind of put this idea out to her, and she's, you know, she has more freedom to do more on-site technical assistance, and she's very excited to come back to
Good.
Bois Forte.
Good. The only other part that I saw that I just had a question on, and I didn't get an answer back from legal yet, is where any work performed by such during work hours must be directed and supervised by the Bois Forte RTG. I'm just wondering about the volunteers and the liability issue, just to make sure that there's
Yep.
liability coverage or whatever. You never know what's gonna happen, that's all I can say.
Yeah, that's
Um,
very true.
So, I mean, that's the only
I
questions I
think
had
on
regarding.
that one with Mark Anderson, he formerly had said that under the workers' comp policy that volunteers are covered. So
Okay.
that would be something to check back in with.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
awesome.
those are the only questions I had when I had a chance to look through this. So I don't know what changes you guys had. Oh, come on in, Kim. I see our
Bonjour,
CFO's
Kim.
coming in.
Hi.
The question about the only volunteers that were covered under the workers'
Not
Okay.
covered, okay.
Thank you, Kim.
Yep. And that was like a few years
Okay.
ago when Mark had said that.
Okay, well, we'll get that clarified.
Okay. I'm gonna write
Oh,
that down
here
so I
comes
don't forget.
Mrs. Brodeen. Yes, Barb?
I think you guys probably need to get the legal counsel on the phone, because when I checked with them, unlike White Earth, we do not fall under the same guidelines.
Correct.
And so there's no way that we are gonna meet that deadline.
With the leasing.
Well,
gonna
and
take a
it's
long
not just the
time.
leasing issues, it's issues surrounding whether Bois Forte can even qualify for the hemp project. So,
And talking with Jan Lynn, so the whole idea is to self-regulate, you submit a plan for approval with the SDA Farm Service Agency, and having that technical assistance on their end, you can use the sovereignty
well,
approval as well.
and it's not just the BIA, it's the federal government.
Yeah.
And so you really need to contact and get in writing what the legal
And we
said.
have that, I think, from the Farm Bill, that the is doable and that Bois Forte can have the USDA be the regulator, or we can submit our own plan and have hours.
And
I also have, holding on to right here to the Red Lake,
we're working with Red Lake.
the
'cause
Red
they
Lake
are
one,
already-
and theirs is in the process right
Yeah.
now, and I think they actually have, seeds in the ground.
We've been talking, the Red Lake Band has their own ordinance and everything in place already, and they've done their USDA report or proposal, and Chairman Siki was at one of the NCI meetings, and, you know, we're similar to Red Lake, so that's why we're using Red Lake as our guide, and they've been very helpful in providing us with some of the tools that they've used or steps they've taken with regards to this hemp project, so.
Okay.
But we
I-
realize that the leasing part of it is gonna be
Well, and it's
somewhat
not,
lengthy.
yeah, it's not just the leasing part, it's a legal issue, from what I gather from you Bois Forte attorneys. So I think something really needs to be, either call them and get them on record as to what the issues are, or get it in writing or something.
And we had it in writing in that email from a couple months ago.
Yeah, and in that, he stated there's no way that we can fast track this. There's absolutely no way.
We can't fast track it, no.
Yep. And it seemed like have the tribal administration and government who is a lot of resources out there. It's just we can move through this, and if we don't hit the 2021 growing season, at least we know we gave it our best shot. And we don't want any,
Yeah,
to
and-
put federal or state funds in jeopardy.
Well, and the thing is, you guys pay, your own lawyers, our own lawyers, and those are the lawyers that you need to use, because they are obligated to us to safeguard and not put us at any risk. So using outside legal counsel, I wouldn't advise, so.
Yeah, we are using our legal counsel.
Yeah, definitely. And his name, I can't remember, his last name is Doug. He said he would be open to giving feedback on our drafting. So if that's welcomed, then we could have it, but it wouldn't be, be all end all. It would be before, to do the prep work, to present to legal, so they don't have to pay for so many hours.
Right. And then that legal advice would be for the group, not on your behalf as the council.
And, that was the other part with the code. It does say about the, I can't find it now. Okay, the Bois Forte RTC will assume responsibility for costs and expenses related to the ongoing drafting and review of the Bois Forte Tribal Food and Sustainable Agriculture Code by its legal counsel. Right now, we don't have funding for that, and that would have to be looked at for a future funding project, I think, for tribal government.
Yep.
So that funding is not available, but I'm not saying that the code's gonna be done tomorrow. I know it's gonna take
Right,
time.
I was imagining, honestly, for the code development, years, to be completely real about it, in terms of what it's gonna take. So my sort of plan on this is if we can have 10 to 15 people, community people, trained in the fall on those potential topic areas on page 2. And then in the winter, start gathering feedback from community members through input meetings on how they'd like to participate in code development, which then that just kind of sets us on the same page in terms of how we want to work together on developing the code, and that's pretty much a whole year there. And then from there, it's just kind of slow and steady. There was a native lady from Canada, and I quote her all the time, when they take action on a community need, they put it out to 3 to 4 generations for when it's gonna, heal whatever is going on. So that's my timeline, 3 to 4 generations. And so it's kind of cool, multi-generational work in that way. So
But I like your potential topics with your group educational activities. You know, if I may name them, they're food systems, policy and advocacy, sustainable development movement, and then also we have traditional and indigenous foods, the federal Indian law and tribal code development, historical and intergenerational trauma context, food and farm work safety, which is really good, farm financing, operations and compliance, and then the last one is the industrial hemp production. Like all projects, they will take time, and I think that's this is something that we really can't rush into. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we do it right the first time. I think by accessing resources, processes and how they're doing things, because they're actually way ahead of us with regards to this.
Yep.
That's the main point.
Right on.
So that's a good point, so.
And I think we also had a chat yesterday with White Earth, who has, I think, they have 10 acres? I believe it was 10 acres planted this year. And we were trying to see where they're at with their stuff and, you know, as far as everything, their codes and everything like
Yep.
that,
And
their process.
What's possible too, so the idea of having the code is, you know, to protect the interests of the band, but then also to protect the interests of independent farmers and consumers. As an intermediary, I see, you know, we're humans and conflicts happen, so it's not conflict resolution all the time, it's conflict management, and having that space in the tribal court to mediate, I think is a good idea on both sides. And then what we could do, so the big tribal code, right, is this big project, years in advance of that, could get a head start with doing an ordinance in support of, you know, industrial hemp farming, following Red Lakes and other models that are already being done. And that could be a start, and then having the industrial hemp code as a lead into the code development, it could be like a pilot code project. And we could test out, you know, engaging community members through creating the industrial hemp code that would give us kind of real data to drive how we want to work together for the big food and sustainable ag. What I've really liked in talking with people about this stuff, because I've been like panicky and hysteria, COVID, racial riots, everything. What's the future look like for all of us? Renika's seen it. I think a lot of people have seen it in me. I've been kind of, woo! At the end of the day, we have us. A lot of the elders are like, we're still gonna be here. Yeah. Like, we're gonna be all right. And so learning this way to bring community back in and, you know, fight together in that good way is the be all and end all. So,
Dani, is there a chance that we really won't be able to approve this MOU today? Just because of some of the changes that you guys may want and some of the things that we may want. Is there a chance that we can get your changes that you want, and then the answer regarding liability and all that kind of stuff, and get back to legal and then look at it again for approval?
Yes, and we have a request. So one of our changes was Section 5, Part A. The group is responsible for pursuing financial resources for education and training. I was in that training mode when I wrote that, and I forgot about one of our other goals is to get monies for current farmers to lift up their projects.
Oh, for individual farmers?
Exactly,
okay.
Yep. So that was a big oversight on my part, my apologies. And so we have an opportunity, Honor the Earth, which is through Winona LeDuc's programming, has a couple grant opportunities due by Friday, and there's another one due today with Tawahe. And so what we were gonna request, or what we are requesting, is this is an opportunity and it's fast tracking, but I don't think with the amount of monies, there's much liability, although Kim can come and speak with us if she's available on it. If there's a possibility, knowing this is going forward, with good hearts in a good way, smaller amounts of money. I think the one due today is $5,000,
Okay.
and the one this Friday is $7,000.
Okay.
If we could, you know, in agreement, say, add to Part 5 or Section 5, Part A, resources for independent farmers, as well as education and training, that we could apply for these grants with Bois Forte as the fiscal agent. And again, the one with Tawahe is $5,000, and
Okay.
it's due today.
Okay.
And I don't know if there could be a motion passed to approve
Just to do the
those two
fiscal agent
grants.
part?
Yep.
Robbie, can you ask Kim to come in? Is she gone?
Yay, sorry, Kim, thank you.
Hi, Kim, I'm just wondering about the fiscal agent issue that we have here, because I know sometimes tribes are the fiscal agents for everybody else, so how does that work here?
Yeah, well, we are fiscal agents for a few other things, but I haven't read any of the documentation, but I don't see a problem of them applying for it at this time.
And saying that
And
we
the
could be the,
fiscal agent,
Okay.
yeah, and then
We
we'll
just
have
wanna
to work
make
out the
sure.
detail and read through the
yeah,
documents.
we're not gonna approve this memorandum today, but they need to do the grant application.
Yeah, I would say that you should allow
Okay.
them to apply for it, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim, sorry for the short notice.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve being a fiscal agent for the, okay, here we go. Bois Forte Food Sovereignty and Sustainable Agricultural Community Advocacy Group, so they can apply for these 2 pots of money.
Yep.
Motion made by Chief.
I think we could leave it, maybe be a fiscal agent just for the Tawahe grant and just for the Honor the Earth grant,
Okay.
so that there's no pending or, no loophole that anybody might
Okay,
be
do you wanna
concerned
put it,
about.
your grant, you're specific to those?
Yeah, it's specific to the 2 grants.
He's gonna change his motion specifically to the Tawahe grant and the, Honor the Earth grant.
And then if there's any others, they can bring them forward later?
Yeah.
Yep.
For a second.
Second.
Second by Travis.
Miigwech.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Silent. Motion carried.
I just had one more I had a question. On 6, let's see, where's it at? 6C there, it says Bois Forte Tribal Council will take action as reasonably necessary to provide access to land for agricultural purpose by working directly with the Bois Forte Realty Department, its Department of Natural Resources, and its legal counsels as needed to negotiate lease agreements to be for approval by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Now, do we have to make our realty department and our DNR department aware of this action that's going to happen, or so they kind of have an
Oh, yeah.
idea what's happening? Because I think at one time, I'm not sure if Barb's still out there, but I know at one time we had a land lease or land use plan in place, and I'm not sure, but that's something that we should probably get from our Natural Resources Department. I know that that was passed, several years ago, and, but we should probably have that information looked at too. So.
Yep, that's a good idea, Dave.
I-
Robbie, can you take a look at that, meet with the DNR, Tara and Barb and the land use, on the land use?
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
I do think
See, like an example.
that this is in the planning stages, so it's a good time to start getting everybody together on the same page. And I'm kind of in agreement with Kathy. It's gonna be a tough one to try to push this through
Right.
for the 2020-21 growing season.
Yep.
But, as much work as we can get done in this, if we could set deadlines for people to do this stuff, would be actually probably a really good thing, because
And I
we
think,
sometimes start stuff and then we tend to
Fizz out.
keep pushing it back because we have something else will
well,
pop
and
up.
COVID,
Yeah, but I think we should set deadlines
like a
and stuff for it.
timeline. And the intention, and thank you for bringing that one up, is more so not immediate. The idea of that is that we would have zoned ag land, which again takes more time. But, and then, it's a leasing rental opportunity too. And talking with one of our members, they said, instead of asking for just, free land, we'd prefer to actually pay a formal lease payment on the land for using it, for ag purposes, because, you know, it just keeps the even exchange there. And then it could be another opportunity for Bois Forte to gain a little bit of revenue back for the work it's doing. We'll scoot out of the way for Barb.
I am in the process of updating the leasing policies and procedures and also the land use plan. Currently, I don't believe there is zoning for agriculture right now, so that needs to be updated. I did talk with our legal counsel last week, and we'll hopefully be setting up a meeting with them to get everything updated.
Great, thank you, Barb. Okay, sounds good.
Awesome, yay, so we'll be back at
Okay.
the next meeting or the meeting after that with the changes, and maybe Robbie, we can negotiate changes? Does that sound great? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Good luck with
ladies.
your- Good luck with your applications. Thank you, Dani. Okay, next we have Destinie, Villebrun, and Lynette Tahtinen with PRC Guideline. Tahtinen? Morning. Okay, we have first on the agenda PRC Guideline Updates.
PRC, okay. I think I turned this in.
That's how our books used to look.
Let's see, okay. So we are just updating some of the guidelines. A lot of it is just the language that we've changed. And then there are a few small changes that we should probably mention. So we sent this to legal and they updated it with a lot of the language, but then, so in the very back, some of the things were added. So payment to claims is one of the things that are going to be the most noticeable.
What is that, Destiny?
On the very back page of the, what is this one called? The eligibility.
Oh, payment of claims?
Yep, under
Okay.
payment of claims. We added that all PRC participants are going to have 30 days from the date of their statement that they received to turn it into the PRC program. And that's just to make sure that people are actually turning their stuff in on time, because a lot of the times what we're seeing is they're turning them in after 180 days, and they're either going to collections or they're having issues like that.
So if you get bills, turn them in right away, is basically what
So
you're
you got
saying.
30 days from the statement date to turn them in. Otherwise, I mean, hopefully. And then another one of the noticeable ones, we updated the, so under the eligibility guidelines,
Yes.
there's one that says, to be non-native. We kind of added it so it's a little bit easier to understand, hopefully.
Is that the one about
The non-native pregnant woman.
non-American Indian
Yep.
pregnant woman? Okay.
So we had added some stuff there just to make it a little easier for them to understand, because
Okay.
that one was a little hard to understand before.
Okay.
And then, that's pretty much, and they'll hopefully get those sent out with the PRC application for our upcoming year.
Yep. And then you're just changing the date on the bottom saying updated.
Yeah, that was,
Okay.
I messed that one part up.
Any other questions for Destiny regarding the PRC guideline updates? That time of year again is coming up fast.
Yeah, I
Yep,
got my little letter.
yeah, we got a reminder one, and then our applications will be going out here in another week and a half or so.
Okay. So people watch for your PRC apps. Do we have a motion to approve the PRC guideline updates as presented by Destiny?
Yep.
Made by Chief. Is there a second? Seconded by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Okay, next we have the Medical Emergency Fund Guideline and Application Updates.
Okay, so this one I brought to you guys quite a while ago, and we did end up getting a lot of changes made. So last time I came here, you guys wanted to have me look and see if I wanted to do a kind of like split the budgets up, because we're having issues between deciphering between, like,
Emergencies and
emergency
appointments?
versus- Yep.
Okay,
And so after kind of talking with Dan and a few other people, we decided to keep it as the emergency fund. So I updated the guidelines, and I believe your copy should have highlighted ones.
yep,
So we added the,
is that
Yeah.
the other instances where the fund may be accessed as a medically necessary surgery or one post-op visit?
yep, because we've added the post-op part because
Right on top,
they're kind of important when you're having the surgery part.
hang on,
And then under eligibility, we added,
45 of 110.
sorry.
Gotta find the page.
Oh, sorry.
We're new at these iPads, okay? We're adapting, okay? Okay, he's got it, go ahead.
And then under eligibility, we added, the post-op part there as well.
Okay,
And then that the applicant must be residing either St. Louis, Coochin, or Itasca County. And then under requirements, number 2, we added A and B, so just under the verifications, because a lot of the times we were getting stuff from the hospital and it wasn't being specific, so we could tell whether it's a true emergency or not.
okay,
So we added just some verification things like the length of stay, signature, letterhead. And then we wanted to make sure that they understood that getting the verification to us is actually their responsibility.
yes.
We can't request that on their behalf.
Mhm.
Number 4, that if the money is not used, it needs to be returned to us within 10 days of the check date. It needs to be picked up within 10 days, otherwise we can void it.
Okay,
And if someone else is going to be receiving the check, that they need to state that on the application. And we just want that in writing to be safe for us.
yep,
And just that they were printed at the Nett Lake building, because we had some issues trying to get it to Vermillion.
Oh,
People weren't
okay.
understanding that we couldn't get it printed there. Oh, and then, that the information needs to be to us by 2 p.m., because we have people showing up at 4 o'clock expecting a check, which
oh,
is
okay,
also difficult to do. Then we updated the amounts, so it'd be a max of $400 rather than the $350, which it is currently.
okay,
And then we upped the lodging from $50 to $70 per night, and then we upped the meals from, I believe it was 30 a day to 40 a day.
okay,
And in the very back, we added immediate family members. We did add stepchildren, foster children, grandparents, and grandchildren.
a lot of grandparents are taking care of their grandchildren, so.
Yep, which made it really difficult for some people to get funding.
Okay.
So we added those in there.
Okay,
And then application, I just added the relationship to the patient, whose enrollment number it is, how the check's gonna be received, and then the 10-day check.
okay. Good. Okay, so you're gonna change your, emergency fund flyer to that 400 then? Eligible applicants may receive up to $400 rather than the $350?
Oh, yep.
Okay. Just checking,
Yeah.
that's okay. Okay. Yeah. Yep. 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 Any other questions for Destiny? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the updated medical emergency fund guidelines and applications? And this will be effective when? Next year or this year or
Today,
immediately?
hopefully.
Huh?
Hopefully today.
Yeah.
Today? Okay, effective today? Do we have a motion to approve those?
Move.
Oh, moved by Travis, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Great
Just have
job,
one
girls.
one more
Thank you.
question.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
one
yeah.
more.
No, it goes in effect today, so anybody from yesterday is not gonna come in and ask for a reimbursement for the extra 50 that they missed out on?
Correct.
You're gonna hold to that then?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, just checking. Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Good job. next we have Randy Long, Dan Milbridge, and Sue Larson for some equipment requests, it looks like.
Do you want me to do the Healthy Planet?
First item is Imprivata. Imprivata is a company that provides secure methods for electronic prescribing of controlled substances. This is specific to our
Oh.
medical doctors and how they can prescribe controlled substances through our network.
Because usually you have to carry the handwritten script.
Yes.
Does this eliminate that, or do you have to do
This
that?
will eliminate it and provide a
Okay.
more secure means and provide the necessary security measures needed to make this change.
Okay. And there's funding to cover this sole source request for Imprivata in the amount of $64,705.
Yes.
Any questions for Randy or Sue or Dan? Of $64,755.
Move.
Moved by David, is there a second? Seconded by Trav, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay,
Healthy Planet?
no, not yet.
Abbott Diagnostics.
Abbott,
I don't know what that was that you added on there.
I'm requesting $28,570,000 from Abbott Diagnostics for diagnostic equipment for the health clinic. This equipment will be specific and work directly with our current electronic health record system.
available at both sites, correct?
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the diagnostics in the amount of 20. Cover this, correct?
Yes.
By Travis, is there a second? Second. Opposed, silent, motion carried. Now, Healthy Planets.
I thought you were on a roll, you could just keep going. The Healthy Planet, we're requesting $20,000. I think I had written this up before and kind of brought it to you, but they had upped their price for the $20,000. The Healthy Planet reports is, what that will give us is all the GIPRA metrics that are required for us to report. If we ever want to get accredited, we have to have this in place.
Okay.
It will also give us quicker, and the providers, quicker access to, you know, diabetic results, COVID results, so forth. And so we had already previously met with Essentia on these.
Okay.
And there's a multitude of reports, and it will come directly out of Epic. So it's
Okay.
just a few clicks, and we should be able to give better results to IHS for our metric reporting,
Okay.
and state too.
Is this an annual fee then?
The $20,000 is just to get it implemented, and
Okay.
then there's a $4,000 annual fee.
Okay. And you've got the money to cover this also.
Yep.
Do we have a motion to approve the sole source request for Healthy Planets reporting implementation cost of $20,000? Moved by Shane, is there a second? Second by Chief, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay,
Okay, so.
keep going, Sue.
I know, I got like 6 more. This is basically because we have grant money and we have to spend it by the end of COVID grant money by the end of September, so that's kind of why I got 6 of them
Okay,
going here.
so this is your COVID funding
Yeah.
request? Okay,
So, we need to, would like to purchase 2 spirometers for the clinic. One, obviously, when I say 2, it's 1 for each clinic. And what this will give us is we can, you know, with COVID, there's shortness of breath. We need to be able to determine what their rate is It'll also depict for COPD, asthma. Our current, we used to have the spirometer directly on the EKG machines, but we found that that wasn't too efficient and they weren't really reading correctly. And then we had the instance where the EKG machine died, so then the spirometer died. So with these spirometers, they are compatible with Epic, so all the results will go directly into their chart. So we
Okay.
won't have to manually put anything in.
That's really good for
We
the,
will get, we do not know yet what the extra cost from Essentia is, just to sync them up.
okay.
And if there will be an annual cost, but we don't believe there'll be an annual cost, it'll just be a cost to sync them up.
Okay, what is the cost for the system, do you know?
For the two spirometers?
Yes.
$3,300.
Okay. Nett Lake and Vermilion Clinics, sole source.
$1,000, it probably does not need to be sole sourced.
Yeah. Motion to approve the two spirometers.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Yep.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next, we have the sole source request for, how do you say that?
Luridol? Yeah.
Medical group training CPR online, available for all staff, and it says grant paid.
Yep. So what this, as you know, currently, we have quite a few people in the clinic that their CPR certification is past due or coming up. And so we can't go and have classes anywhere. So what we're requesting, we looked up into this, and this is currently what Essentia is using, and it's an online
Okay.
that you can do. And so with the purchase of this, it wouldn't just be for the clinic, it would be for any RTC employee
Oh,
that would want to, get CRP or CPR certified. And so we would get any software upgrades that you can do. I know of a couple people that have used these, and they said it's pretty successful. Yeah, I know. And we did take a look, and we said, currently it costs us $125 a person to send somebody to take the class, but right now nobody's offering the class, and we have to make sure that we're up to date on all our certifications.
okay. Is there gonna be a cost to, like, say if somebody, let's say we do a CPR class for staff, will you be charging a cost for that then, or, okay,
No, all of this goes through the software program,
nice.
and so there is no cost after you complete the class. I believe Red Cross or whoever it is will
Okay.
send you your certification
Nice,
on that.
that's
So it
nice.
would be available for anybody that wanted to use it within RTC.
Good.
Or anywhere,
Mhm. Awesome, because, you don't think about some of these things with the COVID, but you can't get training online, right now, they're not doing trainings in person. So this is awesome. Okay, do we have a request, we have a motion to approve the sole source request for Laredo Medical Group Training CPR Online, which is our... We have a motion to approve the sole source request.
Yep.
Oh, made by Chief, second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay,
number 3.
yep, number 3.
Okay, what this is this is just an agreement with Delco. Currently in the clinic at Nett Lake, the hand dispensers do not work. They need to be, those ones that you don't, no touch, and they don't work. And we've replaced batteries. Robbie can attest to this. We've replaced batteries in them. They take like 8 or 10 batteries.
Holy.
And they seem to just die within a few days. So Robbie had contacted, I think, Rick Sorum for us, and he said that they would replace them, but it would be the same old machine. So what we're requesting is to use Delco
Okay.
which is who we use down in Vermilion.
Okay,
And I think Fortune Bay uses them also,
okay,
and we've had really good luck with them. If we sign the agreement with them, which we have already done for Vermilion, the dispensers themselves are free.
okay,
Otherwise, they will cost us $100 apiece, and we've asked for 25.
okay, yeah,
And they're free. We just are agreeing that we will buy the paper that goes out of the dispensers with them only for 3 years.
okay. Makes better sense to go with one provider anyway. Do we have a motion to approve the sole source request for agreement to replace the dispenser at Nett Lake Clinic with Delco? And they will replace 25 dispensers free as long as we use their product for 3 years. Do we have a motion to approve that sole source request?
Move.
Moved by Travis, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Halfway done.
Halfway done.
The next thing that I have is called a Wave 1 endome system, and what that is for is that is for the dental area. And what that does for them, this is the only provider that they can get this piece of equipment from. It is to help with bridges and crowns, and so it will speed up the process. The machine itself will make it a little less painful, and so then they won't have to be, in doing the procedure for such a long time.
Oh, okay.
It's more efficient than what we are currently using.
Oh, good.
It has been really nice with our new dentist. She has come in with a lot of good ideas to
Great.
help us upgrade on things, so.
Great.
And it's $4,813 for 2.
Okay. Any questions for Sue on the Wave 1 endo system? Motion to approve the sole source request for that system, dental facilities in the amount of $400,813.
Move.
Moved by Travis, is there a second?
Yep.
Second by Chief, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Okay, number 5, which is, we would like to purchase 2 PCR machines. What the PCR machines?
No, you missed the EKG.
Huh?
Mac EKG.
Oh, switched it on me. I'm sorry. Okay, so the Mac VU 360 is 2 EKG machines, 1 for each clinic. It's a total of $44,000, $466. The grant obviously will pay this. It was already written in the grant. Again, it is Essentia compatible. So what currently our EKGs that we do today, they print them out, they have to scan them in.
The printer paper?
Yeah. So this now will be, it will go directly into their chart.
Oh, nice.
So if the person is transported to, Essentia or wherever, it's already there.
Nice.
We don't have to send it. Obviously, it's got a few more bells and whistles than our current ones that we have. And the one that we currently have in Nett sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not a good thing to have.
No, that's good, you guys got these grants to just enhances patient care. Do we have a motion to approve the sole source request for Mac VU 360? 1 for each clinic, and the amount, that's a total amount for both?
Yes.
$44,466. Do we have a motion to approve that sole source? Moved by Shane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Okay, the last one is for the PCR machine. What the PCR machine is, as you know, when we do COVID testing and we have to send out to Mayo, it can, right now, because COVID is escalated. It's taking us 3 or 4 days to get results back. This is a machine that we can actually do that Mayo uses, and we could do the test ourselves here. So we would not have to send it out to Mayo. That's not saying some of them wouldn't be sent out, but the majority of them could be done here. It takes like an hour or so to run the test.
So rather than waiting 3 days for the test to be sent out, it'd be just an hour?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Well,
great.
unless we have, you know,
Right.
quite a few to run, but,
Right.
yeah. But the machine also, it's not just used for that. We can use it for infectious disease, for
Okay.
diabetics, for women's health,
Okay.
for all sorts of things, so.
That is great.
The only thing that we did call, and, you know, we can get the machine, and so, but the kits will kind of be limited because everybody wants the kits, but we still can get some kits.
Okay,
So.
good. Questions on the sole source request for McKesson PCR COVID testing machine that Mayo has? Now I'll call for a motion to approve that sole source request. When will you have this, Sue? When will you have this machine?
I mean, the machine is not the issue getting, it's the
It's the
tests.
tests?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Paula did talk to him, and, you know, we're on the list to get some, and they said we would get some, but obviously Mayo and everybody is kind of first, but.
Okay.
I'll move.
Moved by Dave, is there a second? Oh, Robbie?
Yeah, is there gonna be any additional training your staff gonna need to?
What do you mean additional training?
Are they gonna have to be tested on it, or is it ready to go right offline, or?
Is Paula gonna do it?
I mean, usually, I mean, for testing, you know, we don't like to test unless you're symptomatic. Because if you come in and you test and you have no symptoms, and then all of a sudden 3 days later, I mean, we tell you, oh, you're negative, you know, you're good to go. And then 3 days later, you start getting sore throat, fever, you come back, you test, you're positive. So we just kind of wasted, you know, our thing is we don't want to give people too false sense of security because they might have tested negative today, and then 2 days from now, they could be positive. So that's kind of how we're looking at it. I mean, we do probably have enough, we don't have enough tests to do everybody, if that's the way you were looking at it, but we do have the capability. Mayo Clinic said they would help us. We could call in National Guard, they would help us. If we wanted to do that, you know, to test everybody, but it would be a rapid test, most of them.
Sorry, Sue. My question is, do you have to get certified, any of your staff, for the testing of the machine?
Oh, for the CPR?
No, to run this machine.
Oh, does our staff have to be
Yes.
certified? Our staff is already, I'm sorry. Our staff is already certified to run these machines.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. We wouldn't purchase it if it wasn't, and if we weren't, we would get certified. I mean, we can't, you know, step over that boundary.
Oh, got it.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Trav. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Great job, thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Nice new equipment, great. We have Barb Rodine with resolutions for leasing.
Good job of spending.
Morning, Barb. Hang on, they're gonna set you up over there. You've got a lot on the agenda here. Uh-oh. Need the recording one too, Everett. Oh, you can get it over there? Okay, good. Okay. Good morning, Barb.
Good morning.
Barb's got some leases here.
Okay, the first item I have is a lease cancellation for Dwayne Husentrud.
Okay.
The reason for his cancellation is that he is selling his structure to Terry Defoe.
Motion to approve the Dwayne Husentrud lease cancellation.
Move.
Moved by Travis, is there a second?
Second.
Second by
Aye.
opposed, silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease for Terry Defoe. As I previously stated, she is buying this structure from Dwayne Husentrud.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the lease, residential lease for Terry Defoe.
Move.
Moved by
Aye.
opposed, silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease termination for Donald and Carlene Chosa. This is due to the sale of their home.
Do we have a motion to approve the residential lease termination for Donald and Carlene Chosa?
Move.
Moved by Shane.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease for Ruth Porter. She purchased Donald and Carlene's home.
Do we have a motion to approve the residential lease for Ruth Porter?
Move.
Oh, moved by Chief, seconded by Trav, all
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a termination of a residential lease for Ernest and Elizabeth Drift. This is due to the abandonment of the structure that was on this lease.
Move.
Moved by Travis.
Second.
Oh, second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease for William King. He is taking over a home loan for the property that was located on Ernest and Elizabeth Drift's lease.
Do we have a motion?
Good.
Oh, second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a termination of a residential lease for Shelley and Eric Strong. This is due to abandonment of the property that's located on this lease.
Do we have a motion to approve the termination of residential lease for Shelley and Eric?
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Yep.
Second by
Aye.
opposed.
Next, I have a residential lease for Bois Housing for a site at Indian Point. This is the Shelley and Eric Strong lease that you just terminated. This is for the tiny homes project.
Do we have a
Move.
moved by Chief? Second by Shane.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, I have a termination of a residential lease for Bois Housing. It was, there was a structure on this property that was occupied by Kathy Johnson, but it burned down. So we need to cancel this lease.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve the termination of residential lease, Bois?
Move.
Moved by Chief,
Second.
second by Trav.
Next, I have a residential lease for Bois Housing at Vermillion. It is the lot that was just canceled, and this is for the tiny homes project.
Do we have a
Yep.
made by Chief?
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease for Bois Housing in Nett Lake. This is for a lot on Lakeshore Drive. I believe Damon Day used to have this this lot, but the structure, I believe, is no longer there. And this is also for the tiny homes project.
Okay. Nett Lake, formerly Damon Day, on Lake.
Move.
Move, did you
Mm.
move by Chief, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trav.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Oops.
Next, I have a recreational lease modification for Roger Tudoloff Sr. He is requesting to add his son, David Tudoloff, and also to add the successor of interest to the leasehold.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the residential lease modification for Roger Tudoloff Sr.?
Move.
Moved by Chief, is there a second?
Second.
Oops, second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease modification for Michael Anderson. He is asking to add his wife Sandy to the lease and add the successor and interest to leasehold.
Motion to approve the aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
I have a residential lease modification for Jeffrey Anderson. He is asking to add his wife Janice Anderson and also to add the successor and interest to leasehold.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease modification for Steve and Steve Jr. Anderson. They are asking to add Lot 13, which is currently a recreational lot in their names.
Oh.
They want to add that to their residential lot.
Okay.
Because they're going to build a different structure on it.
Okay. Application,
Move.
move
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
I have a resident or recreational lease renewal for Jesse Richter.
A lease renewal for Jesse Richter.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is
Second.
it second?
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
Next, I have a termination of.
On the next one?
Next, I have a termination of the lease for Joe and Tracy Headland. This is due to abandonment of the property. They have not been there forever.
Okay, do we have a
Move.
Moved by Travis. Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
I oppose.
Next, I have a lease modification for Peter Boney. It is for lot 28. Currently, Peter and Nancy and Faye Hernandez are on lot 29. You'll notice that the lot is only 0.13 acres, which is quite small. They are interested in adding on to the structure that they currently have, and so the lot 28 would be added onto their lease.
Current lot, Barb, isn't large enough for any structure to be. The one that-
There's a small structure on it right now, but they wanna add on, and there's no room
Okay.
to do that.
Okay. A motion to approve the Peter Boney, the Rewerts Boney?
Move.
Moved by Trav. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. Saying aye.
No, regarding that one for Peter Boney, so he's increasing Munchkin land?
Yes. Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay. Yeah, chief can come back in. Munchkin land. Just seen Barb look at you on that one.
Next, I have a termination of a recreational lease for Sue Cameron. And the reason for this is when we met, the council indicated that they wanted to start freeing up some of the lots that people haven't built on. And so this is one of them.
I know that this lot has been a matter of discussion in the past. What is the, help me out here, what is the process with regards to, Sue aware that her lot is gonna be terminated?
She is not. I talked to her last year and told her that she did need to build a structure on it because she's had this lot for 14 years now. And so, but the difference between a termination and a cancellation is the Bois Forte Tribal Council, being the lesser, can terminate leases without notification.
Hang on, I'm trying
And
to,
it,
go ahead.
and it, the, you know, part of the reason that these two terminations are going forward is I had people that have the neighboring lot that need additional land to make improvements to their residential places that they already have. And if you will remember, we discussed Tom Anderson's lot, and it's really wet due to the water coming off the other side of the road. And so it's not his fault that is really wet. It has to do with the drainage system that was put in by the water and sewer.
Okay, and so with the Susan Cameron lot, 'cause I know this has been a long-standing issue, was she supposed to put a building on there? Is that what it was?
Yeah, all of the leases that we have, it states that within a 2-year period, you need to put up a structure. Trailer houses are no longer allowed on Lakeshore, and so she's had, you know, plenty of time. She should have put up a structure within, you know, the first 2 years, you know,
Okay.
12, 14 years ago now.
Okay, now, help me out here, Barb, but wasn't there an issue with RV?
Yes, there was. Last year, they had pulled an RV in there. And there was some criminal activity going on.
Okay.
And I believe you received a letter
Yes.
from Ray Tudoloff, which is, would be her neighboring on the other side of that. And so the police department was called several times.
Okay.
And I also went and talked to Sue at that time. So, which is also a violation of the lease.
Oh, there it is.
Within the lease documents, it states that you cannot be a nuisance within your area.
Okay. Okay. Approve the, Tamara, what? Oh, Darren.
I can't answer that because I wasn't in this job then. I don't really know. I don't know. I wasn't in this position.
Yeah, Barb's only been in the position, I think, for what, 2 years now, Barb?
Yeah.
And some of the, we had a discussion with Barb regarding, she gave us like a leasing 101, and basically there's a lot of leases on the reservation that are in non-compliance. And so the council has asked Barb to start looking at those because there's people requesting lots. And, you know, the other thing is that we're running into is a lot of them need to be resurveyed. We know that there's surveying issues in Vermilion especially, and even in the village here where some lots haven't been surveyed. So there's a lot of leasing issues, and it just so happens Barb happens to be the only person in leasing. You know, that was one of the things, is to start looking at these lots and seeing about getting them terminated, and so others can apply for them and have access to them. Some of them were those newer lots that were put water and sewer in, and some people had to do the tree removal. We had one individual that did it manually for a couple of years or whatever, and is still trying to get a home on that lot, so they were granted an extension, but the others lost their lots. So it's a huge issue, and it just so happens we have one leasing individual. If we had a nice big leasing department, a lot of this probably would have been questions? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the termination of residential lease for Susan Cameron?
Move.
Moved by Travis, is there a second? Second by Chief, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed,
I oppose.
silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease modification for Thomas Anderson and Tracy Hill Anderson. They would like to acquire that Lot 5, which was next to them. They are hoping to move their structure that's on Lot 6 onto Lot 5, because Lot 6 is the one that has the water issue.
Motion to approve the residential lease modification for Thomas Anderson and Tracy Hill Anderson.
Move.
Moved by Travis.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Okay, this next one I'm putting forth because I was contacted by Billy Isham, who is ready to start building. Although the site that she currently has is not big enough for to build the structure that she wants. She's planning on building a home and putting up a an attached garage.
Okay.
And so what is going to happen is that Billy's lot and Doris's lot are side by side. They're both going to terminate their recreational lease contingent on the approval of a residential lease. And then once Billy gets her house and her garage up, then I will remove Doris from that lease.
Okay.
So I have a cancellation of a recreational lease for Doris Isham, contingent on the approval of the new residential lease.
Move.
Moved by Chief, is there? Aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried.
I have a cancellation of a recreational lease for Billy Isham, contingent on the approval of a new residential lease.
Cancellation, motion to approve the cancellation of recreational lease for Billy Isham. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Next, I have a residential lease for Billy Isham and Doris Isham.
Residential lease for Billy Isham and Doris Isham.
Move.
Moved by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Okay, I just have a couple comments. The reason why there were so many leasing items on today's agenda is in order for me to present leases, I need original signatures, and due to the COVID, I wasn't able to have face-to-face contact with people until just recently. And then the other issue is the tiny homes project and also the MCT homes project. Now, I have questions. I only put one MCT home lease on the agenda today.
Yep.
I have questions about the other three, and the only way that I can
Yes.
put a lease in somebody's name is if they are going, you know, through like our home loan program. Under our current leasing ordinance, putting a lease in a person's name while they're renting is prohibited. And so, so I guess I'm asking for direction as to, are the other three people's names that you gave me, are they going to be renting, or are they going to be purchasing these homes?
One is going to be purchasing that I'm aware of, and that's,
Okay,
one will be purchasing that.
okay,
We don't know much about the other two homes yet,
okay,
so once we get clarification on
Okay.
that, because I'm not, that's a good question, because that was set up with the MCT prior, so,
well, and how it worked is that the MCT, unlike Bois Forte, can lease land and the homes were purchased, so there was no issue with the lease at that time. But under our current lease ordinance, we cannot issue leases to people who are renting because our land is in trust, and trust land is not to be used for profit. So, in the case of renting to people, so.
yeah, I know one will be a contract for deeds.
Okay, I will have that one ready for the next RTC agenda, but you're also gonna see an increase in the terminations
Okay.
of some of the leases, because I'm getting calls, you know, I'm getting a lot of calls and a lot of contacts from people that are, you know, that know that people are no longer living there or abandoned
Okay.
the structure. And there are quite a few people who have had leases who have not constructed a structure within the 2-year time period. So those are gonna be coming forward within the next month or so.
Okay, good.
I did have a question, Barb.
Yep.
I know we put the tiny homes into Bois Forte housing.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible to put the MCT homes into Bois Forte housing?
No,
No, because right now, I believe we talked about that at the meeting that we had, and because of NAHASDA regulations, I don't believe that we can do that, because the houses that are in housing's name, they need to count as inventory. And so if we put the lease, you know, it's not going to work, because the RTC is going to own the home, and then Bois Forte Housing would have the lease. And there's not a mechanism within the NAHASDA guidelines that would allow those houses to be put into housing's inventory, so that housing would get additional monies for those homes, because those homes were, you know, they're actually, you know, they were individuals' homes at one time, but have been foreclosed on. So,
Well, like, say, something like the development court.
no, because then what you would trigger is the IGRA laws and regulations. So we can't put anything in the development corporation's name because we are bound by the gaming regulations. So there's really no way around this other than amending or updating the Bois Forte leasing ordinance. And I did, as I stated earlier, I talked to the two attorneys last week, and we are going to be doing the update.
I mean, I just find it kind of strange that we can lease to Bois Forte Housing, who rents out them units.
Because
But we cannot be homeowners and rent out the units.
yeah, because,
You know, do you hear what I'm saying?
yeah, because Bois Forte Housing, that money came from NAHASDA or tax credit programs in order to construct those homes. And so Bois Forte Housing is, you know, actually the home, they're the homeowner entity, or if you will. And so that's where there's, you know, that's where there's a conflict. It has to do, all of this has to do with federal regulations. It's totally out of our control. And so when I talked to the attorneys last week, we are going to incorporate in the update of the leasing policies and procedures and the land use plan, we're going to incorporate not only the federal laws, but also tribal laws. So I'm not so concerned about the state laws because it doesn't pertain to us, so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Kim? Oh, do you want to do the Deer Creek first? Is that what Tara's waiting for? Is that what Tara's waiting for? The Deer, you want to do Deer Creek first? Okay. Saw Tara walking out there, but I didn't.
On your last item, I just want to say that to make sure that her realty's priorities that she had and the people that she was working with, those kind of got put to the wayside for these projects that she just, so I'm getting those overflow calls and stuff. I was working with Barb, and so I just want to make sure that the council, you know, backs us up on, you know, we had a set of priorities, but stuff, you know, took that priority. So the customers are waiting, calling me. So I just wanted to let you know that, you know, if anybody calls you and says, you know, that we're not acting on something.
Nothing, I've received nothing.
I'm getting them.
Oh, you're getting them, just in case it comes this way.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have discussion on Deer Creek.
I mean, it was initiated by council, so.
Deer Creek?
Yep.
Well, what happened was a band member emailed me. I just had my email up here, or messaged me actually, and that's why I sent that email, and just lost it. Anyway, the band member had concerns that there was somebody farming on Deer Creek and hauling gravel, and I said, well, I'll bring this up to the council. So that's why I sent that email, you know, bringing forth the band member's concern. And then Robbie emailed and got DNR involved, and they went over and looked at it, and they found that there was no farming on it, and everything seems to be fine. So.
Right now, we did have our CO go over and take a look at it. He found nothing. He is doing a follow-up today with
did some GIS, they have a GIS
Yep.
software?
We have, forestry has that whole area GIS'd. So that's what they're doing today, is following up on that. I kind of called them off of it a little bit because I wanted Barb in on that, and I also wanted to go. But just to inform the council that Deer Creek is, we got some non-band member ownership there. And so there's only a small portion that the band has, and that it's not in trust. So it's very swampy. I wouldn't even, bother with it. It's not habitable. So we're not the ownership. We don't have 100%. So that might be what's happening, is those owners are doing stuff on their land that they own there.
Similar to here with the pattern that we have here.
Right.
Some are potlatch, it's just
Yep.
people own different parcels of land.
So that's probably what you're seeing, but we'll, talk with them and verify that.
I think we were talking about it once, I think the band owns a little section, accessible by water only or something.
Yep. So, and then when you get a tip like that, I do need more direct, information, names, locations, that kind of thing. Because I don't like to, in writing, I don't like to send my guys on a wild goose chase.
I had a quick question. So I know there's a lot of private ownership over there, and there's not a lot of land in trust within our Deer Creek Reservation. Do we have like land management responsibilities over there, like we do here?
No.
It's taken care of? Okay. All right, thank you very much, ladies.
You're welcome.
Now, Kim Grainer. Come on in, Kim. You can go over there if you want. Doesn't matter. Well, the mic's over there now, so. Morning.
Good morning. You should have the updated information of the three pots of money we're looking at. There's several pots of money for relating to the pandemic, but the three specific that we've been working through is the BIA funds, the U.S. Treasury funds, and then the HHS Tribal and Indian Health Payment Fund, of how we kind of allocated out some discretionary projects related to the COVID stuff. And the history of this is when this was all started, we were never told how much we were going to get. It just, and we turn in information and then it just shows up in our bank account, and then we have to figure out how to use it. And we have deadlines to have it spent by. And the other problem is that some of the money, we may have gotten in May, and they're just now putting out guidance on.
Yeah.
So what I have done is I've given you the spreadsheet of how we were allocating the funds. And behind that, each spreadsheet is the most current frequently asked questions, which is the guidance basically on how the money can be used or not used. So, and here's an example, and it comes in, and it doesn't come in all at once. Now, we've done this, and I wasn't anticipated on getting any more money, and last night I got an email, and we got about 30,000 more in the BIA funds. So it's always a constant moving target, and as projects come in at a lower cost, we have to kind of revisit. And reallocate money. So this is gonna be kind of
It's
an
gonna be a
ongoing.
moving,
It's gonna be
Fine.
ongoing until
Yeah.
the money is spent. You know, we have to, some of them have different dates. But, so this is what we had talked about last week, and so, out of the BIA funds, and this does not include the money that we got, that I had got notice on last night, so,
oh, okay, this excludes the 30,000.
yeah. So, for the 9,000, or the 968,997 out of the BIA funds, we're gonna have the increase of bandwidth because we have to, because so many people are telecommuting and distance learning. It's really taxing our network capabilities. There's virtual court equipment. Now, this might change because this might be, we might find out we have a grant that it's eligible out of, so that would free up money for something else COVID related. We have our, what's called the emergency operation costs, which is $186,765. And then the big project we're doing out of here is we're building a food shelf building / storage building, and that's for food security and storage of COVID-related supplies. So that's the projects that would be funded from that package at this time. The next pot of money is the U.S. Treasury funds, and this came in pieces. It came in 3 pieces in the last, and so the total combined of the 3 pieces we got was $6,836,153.26, and there's about 2.5 pages long of the projects we're going to do. Do you want me to read the projects?
No.
No, okay.
The main thing, though, is that almost 3 million of it COVID fund that we're talking about, 2.8 million was used for the COVID. And this is the COVID funding, we need to be, we need to stress that it has to be COVID related. And so we just can't use it to buy this, that it has to be, it's really, like Kim said, the guidelines or the, some of the things that we can and can't use it for are still coming in. And we've identified projects, and we've had to throw some projects out because they didn't qualify for, or some ideas out, I should say, some ideas out that don't qualify now that we thought would be okay previously. We're changing, so you have how many, just a number of projects maybe. A lot of it is, you know, it's all COVID related. Cleaning protections, it's virtual or remote notaries. A lot of this does also includes Fortune Bay. There is some Fortune Bay things in here because, as we all know, that a lot of the COVID cannot be used for lost revenue with the casino. So this funding is going over to the casino to help, like, clean all the chips. Poker. I mean, these are really, you know, so it really has to be COVID. And I want to really commend Kim with working with this because, I mean, I'm surprised her head isn't spinning constantly with it.
So the Treasury funds, there's 66 projects or requests that we're doing out of that pot of money.
And those funds have to be expended by 9/30?
No, this pot is
12/30.
December 30th.
Okay, by this year, the end of December.
Yep, and so there's some that are, there's some other, like, in there is like the urban offices have some food assistance programs.
Yep.
But everything, you know, like anything that's like an assistance program, we have to do the resolution.
Yep.
So we're working at, you know, we're getting, because we have to justify, because. And then we have to do a policy to do it, and so we have to have information. So it's not like, you know,
It's
boom,
not cut
today.
and dry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're working on it, and we're working with legal through it all and getting them going.
You know, and the other thing that, you know, because of, we're going to see increased costs in legal fees. We're going to see increased costs because like Kim said, with these assistance programs we're having, we have to ensure that if in the event we're audited, that we make sure we have our ducks in a row to say that, yeah, we complied with every regulation you came out with or recommendation you came out with, because some tribes and all, you know, when they got their money, they issued per capitas right away. Well, that's not an eligible expense now, according to the BIA or the U.S. Treasury.
Yeah.
And so they may have to pay that money back. We don't want, it takes time. We just can't spend, and some funds have to be, some certain, you know, the spending for the funds is delegated by the agency. So some are 6/30, some are 12/31, some are next year.
I think one thing, you know, just to reiterate, you know, the amount of the U.S. Treasury funds is $6,836,153.26. And of that money, $3 million is set aside for the COVID assistance for our band members. You know, we as the tribal council, we are not lining our pockets, you know. All this money needs to be accounted for. You know, and when the applications are sent out, you know, please read through it thoroughly and fill it out completely. Because if when you send it in, and if there's something missing, they're going to send it back. It's basically the reason why they're sending it back is because they want to make sure everything, all the ducks are in a row, if you will. Every line is filled out, and you're covered, the tribal government is covered. And then, you know, it'll take a while to get your check, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, I just want to point that out.
So there's several programs there, you know, some are small and some are big. And then the HHS Tribal and Indian Health Payment, there was, and there's no change from the last time on there. But
Okay.
Since we did the first one by motion, every time we kind of have a major change,
Okay.
I bring it back so that you have record of it and
Yep.
we go through.
And like Kim said, it's some projects, and we'll use the COVID relief fund as an example. We put X amount dollars aside for X amount of individuals to apply. Some are only applying for $250, some are only applying for $5 or what have you. And we went with everybody applying for whatever funding left over that we need to redistribute somewhere or spend in some way that's COVID related. So this is going to be an ever ending totally. And then once that's done, we will get out a report on all our COVID funding, what it was used for, and right down to the penny, because that's what we have to do here to accountable to these funding agencies, but we also need to be accountable to our tribal members to ensure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Assisting us through this time, because for most of you that know that located, technology up here is tough for us. Have people work from remote spots. We had some people that had to use actual hotspots, and that wasn't. Hopefully this will help us a lot get up to something. Might not be the best, but it'll be better than what we had. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the update on CARES Act funding as submitted by Kim Greiner for the three funds of BIA, $968,997, U.S. Treasury funds in the amount of $6,836,153 and that 26 cents, and the HHS Tribal and Indian Health payment of $607,239.31. Motion to approve the update funding.
Move.
Is that you, Shane?
Yep.
Moved by
Second.
Shane, second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Good job, Kim Greiner.
Yep, okay, Kim. I'd just like to read, you know, that email that Kim sent us this morning. regarding the assistance program, is that the email says that 796 envelopes received. Some have more than one application. 714 checks processed as of yesterday morning. 11 envelopes were received yesterday in the mail. 131 original applications information packages were returned to date for bad addresses. So please update your addresses, people. Call the RTC, get your addresses updated, find out how you gotta do it, and do it properly. And if if you need your enrollment number, please call Human Resources and call for Elena Drift, and she will help you get your enrollment number.
Kim, I also want to commend your staff that you have, because they've really picked it up, even our HR staff where they're processing these applications. Everybody's, really stepped up. We have a
Yes.
motion to
Thank you.
adjourn.
Yep.
Made by Chief, is there a second? Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. That ends our meeting. Please, everybody, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer. Please, it's very important. And wear your mask when you're outside or going. I think they're really. Well, stay safe, everybody, and thanks for watching today. Miigwech.